Welcome to Millennium Daily News. This is Ifat Fatima with top stories. Trump to visit victims of unprecedented floods in Texas and Louisiana. Mattis shuns the spotlight but stands his ground. Russia summons American diplomat as its U.S. outposts are ordered to close. Hezbollah Syrian army seek new route for standard Islamic State convoy. And Mashrafi greets all on Eid al-Adha. Those were the headlines, now the detail. U.S. President Donald Trump travels to Houston and Lake Charles, Louisiana to meet victims of catastrophic Storm Harvey, one of the worst natural disasters in U.S. history that is presenting a test of his administration. The storm, one of the costliest to hit the United States, has displaced more than 1 million people with 50 feared deaths from flooding that paralyzed Houston, swelled river levels to record highs and knocked out the drinking water supply in Beaumont, Texas, a city of 120,000 people. Hurricane Harvey came ashore last Friday as the strongest storm to hit Texas in more than 50 years. Much of the damage took place in the Houston metropolitan area, which has an economy about the same size as Argentina's. In an extraordinary moment, Defense Secretary James Mattis was asked at the Pentagon this week if he had ever thought about resigning his post in the Trump administration. The question came during one of Mattis' now regular off-camera but on-the-record impromptu meetings with Pentagon reporters in the press area. During a back and forth about whether Mattis is at odds with President Donald Trump on key issues, Mattis was asked, "It seems every time there's something the president says that upsets half the country, there's a call for the generals. You, Kelly, McMaster should resign for something." Mattis seemed to say he's never thought of resigning. "I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. We all have an obligation to serve. That's all there is to it." California Governor Jerry Brown issued an emergency declaration for a wildfire burning in the northern part of the state. The same day, the man accused of starting the blaze was charged with arson. The so-called Ponderosa fire has burned 3,715 acres and destroyed 30 homes in Wood County, prompting authorities to issue evacuation orders to residents of some 500 homes in the area, officials say. It was 40% contained on Friday, up from 30% the day before. The blaze is burning east of the town of Orville, about 85 miles north of the state capital of Sacramento. Russia handed a senior U.S. diplomat in Moscow a strongly worded note of protest Saturday, the same day U.S. officials had vowed to shutter 3 Russian diplomatic facilities in the United States amid escalating tensions. The U.S. Deputy Chief of Mission in Moscow was summoned to the Russian Foreign Ministry and handed a note of protest in connection with the intention of the U.S. authorities to search the trade representation of the Russian Federation in Washington, the ministry said in an online statement. Patients at hospitals in Frankfurt are being moved to prepare for the controlled explosion of a huge bomb left over from World War II. The 1.4-ton British bomb was found on a building site on Wednesday. About 65,000 people must leave their homes, and police have said they will imprison anyone who refuses to go. It is Germany's biggest post-war evacuation. A smaller one took place on Saturday in Koblenz. In the city 110 km west of Frankfurt, 22,000 people had to leave their homes for 4 hours while experts disposed of a World War II bomb that had been found during preparations for building a new kindergarten. More than 2,600 houses have been burned down in Rohingya majority areas of Myanmar's northwest in the last week, the government said, in one of the deadliest bouts of violence involving the Muslim minority in decades. About 58,600 Rohingya have fled into neighboring Bangladesh from Myanmar, according to UN refugee agency UNHCR, as aid workers there struggle to cope. Myanmar officials blamed the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army for the burning of the homes. The group claimed responsibility for coordinated attacks on security posts last week that prompted clashes and a large army counter-offensive. But Rohingya fleeing to Bangladesh say a campaign of arson and killings by the Myanmar army is aimed at trying to force them out. Lebanon's Hezbollah and the Syrian army are seeking a new route for a convoy of Islamic State fighters and their families bound for the jihadist stronghold in eastern Syria, a commander in the military alliance backing Syria's government said. The convoy of 17 buses carrying about 300 lightly armed fighters and 300 civilians has been stuck in Syria's eastern desert since Tuesday, with a US-led coalition using airstrikes to stop it from entering Islamic State territory. Viewers, going for a short break, we will be back with the headline. Wastage of sacrificial animals to be removed within 24 hours, Saeed Khokon. Work to establish Bangladesh as a dignified country, Prime Minister. Biggest Eid congregation held at Shulakia. US employment growth misses forecast for August. Federal Reserve finalizes rules to help unwind big banks.
নিশাদ ট্রেডিং একটি আন্তর্জাতিক মানের গার্মেন্টস প্রোডাক্ট আমদানি ও রপ্তানিকারক প্রতিষ্ঠান। ইউরোপ, এশিয়া ও আমেরিকা সহ বিশ্বের নানা স্থানে বাইং, মার্চেন্টাইজিং এবং ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং করে থাকে। সর্বাধুনিক প্রযুক্তিতে তৈরি বিভিন্ন ডিজাইনের পোশাক বাজারজাতকরণ এবং বিপণন এই প্রতিষ্ঠানের লক্ষ্য। প্রতিষ্ঠানের বৈশিষ্ট্য: উন্নতমান নিশ্চিতকরণ, টেকসই পণ্যের নিশ্চয়তা, নির্ধারিত সময়ে পণ্য সরবরাহ, লেনদেনের স্বচ্ছতা ও বিশ্বস্ততা। যোগাযোগের ঠিকানা: ইউএসএ কর্পোরেট অফিস, 1747 থার্ড স্ট্রিট সুইট 215, জ্যাকসন হাইট, নিউ ইয়র্ক, NY 11372। বাংলাদেশ কর্পোরেট অফিস, বাড়ি নং 145, সপ্তম তলা, রোড নম্বর 12, ব্লক জি, দক্ষিণ বনশ্রী, খিলগাঁও, ঢাকা 1219।
ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট
একটি স্বপ্নের ঠিকানা, একটি সুন্দর আবাসস্থল। ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট আপনার স্বপ্নের বাস্তব রূপ দেয়।
নতুন ডুপ্লেক্স, অ্যাপার্টমেন্ট, কমার্শিয়াল বিল্ডিং নির্মাণের জন্য নির্ভরযোগ্য একটি প্রতিষ্ঠান
ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট।
অত্যাধুনিক ডিজাইন, সর্বশেষ প্রযুক্তির সমন্বয়ে আমাদের কর্মতৎপরতা কনক্রিট, সিমেন্ট আর ইস্পাতের মজবুত বন্ধনে
গড়ে উঠুক আপনার বাড়ি। রোদ বৃষ্টি সহ সকল বৈরিতার বিরুদ্ধে করি সঠিক ট্রিটমেন্ট।
আপনার শহরের প্রাইম লোকেশনে রয়েছে আমাদের অ্যাপার্টমেন্ট।
আপনার কষ্টার্জিত টাকা এবং আমাদের নির্ভেজাল শ্রমে নির্মিত হোক আপনার স্বপ্নের বাড়িটি। আপনার জীবন হোক সুন্দর এবং আনন্দময়।
আমাদের ঠিকানা ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট, 211 ইস্ট 43 স্ট্রিট, সুইট বি, 507, নিউ ইয়র্ক, NY 10017, ফোন 718-893020।
ইমেল friendsdevelopment@optimum.net।
Welcome back to Millennium Daily News. Now news on Bangladesh topic. Mayor of Dhaka South City Corporation Saeed Khokon said the wastage of sacrificial animals would be removed within 24 hours. We have started removing the wastage. Both the Dhaka South and North City corporations will remove wastage of sacrificial animal within 24 hours. He told his while kick-off wastage removal in front of Sadek Hossain Khoka ground at Dholaikal in the city. As many as 17,000 cleaners have been working to remove wastage of sacrificing animals in the city. The city corporations have cancelled leave of their officials and employees to this end. Replying to a question about the fixed places for animal sacrificing, Said Khokon said the places of sacrificing animals are insufficient in the city. Alongside, the city dwellers also like to slaughter sacrificial animals at their residence. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina called upon all to tirelessly work from their respective positions to take Bangladesh to a dignified position at the global stage. We all need to perform our own duties, keeping in mind our motherland, to establish it in a dignified position of the world, she said, reports the UNB. The Prime Minister said this while speaking to the media while exchanging greetings with people from different walks of life, party leaders and workers, judges and foreign diplomats at her official residence Ganabhavan on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. She said the government's aim is to establish the country as a hunger and poverty-free one. Sheikh Hasina urged all those sections of society, including guardians, teachers, imams and other religious leaders, to take care of the youth so that they cannot slip into any wrong path. President Abdul Hamid urged the affluent section of society to stand beside the country's flood victims along with the government. The affluent people should keep in mind that no flood victim should be deprived of its happiness, he told a reception on the occasion, the Holy Eid al-Adha at Bangabhavan. The president said the rich or wealthy people should share the Eid joy with the people of our areas and other areas who have been the worst victim of recent flash flood and are unable to celebrate Eid al-Adha right now. Terming the sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam as an instance of profound loyalty and utmost surrender to the Almighty Allah, he said the Eid al-Adha teaches how to make sacrifices and everyone should uphold the mentality of tolerance and sacrifice in their respective works and thoughts to establish peace in society. Weeks of torrential monsoon rains and catastrophic flooding in 3 countries of South Asia, Nepal, India and Bangladesh have devastated the lives of millions of children and families. UNICEF estimates that almost 16 million children and their families are in urgent need of life-saving support. Millions of children have been their lives swept away by these devastating floods, said Jean Goff, UNICEF Regional Director for South Asia. Children have lost their homes, schools and even friends and loved ones. There is a danger the worst could still be to come as rains continue and flood waters move south, she added. Since mid-August, there have been at least 1,288 reported deaths, with over 45 million people estimated to be affected, says a press release. The country's largest congregation of Eid al-Adha was held at the historic Sholakia Eidgah Maidan with participation of over thousands of devotees amid unprecedented security measures. The 190th congregation of this year was held at 9 a.m. on Saturday following the custom of opening blank fire. Khatib of Shamsuddin Bhuiya Jame Mosque, Mufti Hibzur Rahman conducted the prayer. A special munajat was offered seeking divine blessings for peace, development and welfare of the people of the country as well as the Muslim Ummah. The government has taken unprecedented security measures for the country's largest Eidgah Sholakia Maidan with deployment of 3 platoons of Border Guard Bangladesh, Rapid Action Battalion and police. Viewers, now Millennium Business News. The U.S. economy added 156,000 jobs in August, less than the previous month and below expectations. Analysts had expected U.S. non-farm payrolls to rise by between 175,000 and 185,000 last month. Data released by the U.S. Department of Labor also showed that employment growth in June and July was lower than originally estimated. The department also announced that the jobless rate had ticked up to 4.4% from 4.3% in July. The costs of the deadly storm in Texas and the Gulf of Mexico have continued to mount, with Texas authorities estimating it at $125 billion. Hurricane Harvey has killed more than 30 people and destroyed thousands of homes. While the rain has shifted away from Houston, the U.S.'s fourth largest city, much remains underwater. The state of Texas is one of the U.S.'s main economic engines. The storm struck at the heart of America's oil and gas industry, knocking a third of all U.S. production offline, closing refineries around the Gulf Coast and causing major pipelines that move fuel to other markets to shut. The Federal Reserve on Friday finalized a new rule that should make it easier to wind down systematically important U.S. banks by creating a safe harbor for financial contracts after a firm defaults. The decision, unanimously approved by Fed board members, forms part of global post-crisis efforts to end too big to fail institutions that are so large and complex they could endanger the entire financial system if they fall into bankruptcy. The rule requires global systematically important banks to amend the language in common financial contracts so they cannot be immediately cancelled if the firm enters bankruptcy. Fiat Chrysler has not received any offer for the company, nor is the world's seventh largest car maker working on any big deal, Chief Executive Sergio Marchionne said lately, speaking on the sidelines of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. Marchionne said the focus remained on executing the company's business plan to 2018. The company's share price jumped to record highs last month after reports of interest for the group or some of its brands from China. China's Great Wall Motor Company Limited openly said it was interested in FCA but had not held talks or signed a deal with executives at the Italian-American automaker. A potential standoff over the U.S. federal debt ceiling is raising alarm bells among fund managers who fear a repeat of 2011 when a protracted showdown over increasing the government's borrowing limit and subsequent downgrade of U.S. credit quality led to a more than 15% slump in the S&P 500 stock index. U.S. investors are raising cash and buying protection, bracing for a messy fight ahead of the Treasury Department's September 29 deadline to raise the debt limit, a legal cap on how much the U.S. government is allowed to borrow. Viewers, the Millennium Environment, Science and Technology News. One of the most powerful X-ray machines ever built has officially opened in the German city of Hamburg. The facility, which has cost more than €1 billion to build, will be used to study the detailed structure of matter atom by atom. It is called the European X-ray Free Electron Laser. Scientists say the way it shines light on targets will permit, for example, chemical bonds to be filmed in the instant that they are made or broken. The researchers anticipate fundamental discoveries that lead to new medical treatments and novel materials, to name just two possibilities. Cyber criminals start attacking servers newly set up online about an hour after they are switched on, suggested research. The servers were part of the experiment the BBC asked a security company to carry out to judge the scale and caliber of cyber attacks that firms face every day. 71 minutes after the servers were set up online, they were visited by automated attack tools that scanned them for weaknesses they could exploit, found security firm CyberReason. Once the machines had been found by the bots, they were subjected to a constant assault by the attack tools. This week's technical tent turned into a gadget fest as we explored the products turning heads at the Berlin IFA Technical Fair, the drones delivering medical supplies in Africa, and the connected car data that could be used to sell you more stuff. David Potter from the car firm Delphi explained that, in his view, the rise of autonomous cars will lead to exponential growth in the data they are able to generate, and his firm is keen to cash in on it. iPhone users awaiting the arrival of Apple's next generation smartphone now have a date to circle on the calendar. Apple will hold its annual product launch, where it typically shows off new iPhone models and other product updates on Tuesday, September 12. For the first time, the event will be held at the spaceship-shaped Steve Jobs Theater on its new Cupertino, California headquarters, expected to open later this year. This year is expected to be a big one for Apple since 2017 marks the 10-year anniversary of the iPhone. Rumors indicate the company will introduce 3 new devices at the event: the iPhone 7s, iPhone 7s Plus, and the so-called iPhone 8, which will be 10th anniversary edition. Viewers, now Millennium Sports News. Barcelona abandoned their hopes of signing Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool after the Merseyside club demanded €200 million for the Brazil attacking midfielders, the Liga side's director Albert Soler said lately. The Spanish transfer window shut on Friday night, with Barcelona failing to add to their signings of Ousmane Dembele, Nelson Semedo, Gerard Deulofeu and Paulinho, despite coach Ernesto Valverde starting publicly he wanted a stronger squad after losing Neymar to Paris Saint-Germain for a world record fee of €222 million. Serena Williams has given birth to a baby girl, the first child for the former world number 1 tennis player, her coach Patrick Mouratoglou said on Twitter. The 35-year-old American, who is engaged to Reddit co-founder Alex Ohanian, has not competed since winning the Australian Open in January, but has posted several videos to social media showing her hitting balls during her pregnancy. Williams and Ohanian have yet to officially confirm the birth, but the report she had quickly became the talk of the tournament, which Williams has won 6 times. Bangladesh national cricket team's ODI captain Mashrafi Murtaza on Saturday greeted the country's people on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. Mashrafi, popularly known as Narayan Express, conveyed his greetings while talking to journalists after offering his Eid prayers at Narayan Municipality Eidgah in the morning. After offering the prayers, Mashrafi exchanged greetings with his relatives, friends and fans. Deputy Commissioner of the district M. Imadul Haq Chaudhary and Superintendent of Police Shadar Rakibul Islam, among others, took part in the main Eid congregation of the district. Before ending, the headlines are once again. Trump to visit victims of unprecedented floods in Texas and Louisiana. Mattis shuns the spotlight but stands his ground. Russia summons American diplomat as its U.S. outposts are ordered to close. Hezbollah Syrian army seek new route for standard Islamic State convoy. And Mashrafi greets all on Eid al-Adha. This is all for now from Millennium Daily Newsroom. To get any kind of news, please log into facebook.com/MillenniumTVUSA and youtube.com/MillenniumTVUSA. Besides, to get the most updated news, please visit to our website www.millenniumtv.net. Stay with Millennium. Allah Hafiz.